Hi folks, Scotty Mag here with another away day guide. This one is for Birmingham City. If you're an away supporter visiting the match, I've got everything you need to know. Make your trip as smooth as possible. It's coming up next. Okay, St Andrews at Knighthead Park. Yes, it's had a corporate rebrand. No, football fans don't call it that. It's a bit like your mum calling you Jonathan and your mates calling you Big Jono. It's St Andrews to you and me. It's been home of the Blues since 1906 when football was played with a cannonball and half of the players had a handlebar moustache. The stadium itself was bombed twice during the war, but remained standing, was renovated in the 90s and now has a capacity of around 29,000, and it's a traditional old ground with loads of character and charm. For those coming in on the coaches, the club have a coach park at the sort of bottom corner of the ground, right near the away end, and if you're there early you'll probably want to make your way into the city to enjoy a pint, which is only about 20 minutes, half an hour's walk from where you're going to get dropped off. If you're driving in, there's no official stadium parking for visiting supporters, but there are options for street parking around the stadium. However, some of the roads also close, so it can be a bit tricky, but do check signage and restrictions if there are any in place. But to save the stress of that, there's plenty of parking dotted around between the ground and the city centre. About halfway there's a coach station with car parks around there, and then as you get towards the bull ring from there, you get the bigger multi-stories. Plenty of accommodation for match day with good links out of the city from those. I've picked a couple of the multi-stories out, but you'll probably see other match day parking before them. Dive in if you've not pre-booked. But the first one, probably the biggest, is the Edgbaston Street car park. It's above the city centre's indoor market, and you can find the entrance to that at Robot Melt Entry. And then a little bit handier for the bull ring, or if you're meeting people off the trains and stuff, you've got the Moore Street car park, officially named the Selfridges and Moore Street. It's sort of two cobbled together multi-stories, so there's quite a lot of spaces in there as well, and mostly flap enter will get you to the corner of that way you get in. That brings me nicely onto the trains. Birmingham New Street is the station you'll be heading for. There's a station closer to the ground called Bordersley. It doesn't have ultra frequent services, and they go sort of via other train stations instead of New Street. It's a pain to get there. Unless you're local, you'll probably not be using that train station. And if you are local, you'll probably not be using this guide. But anyway, moving on. Birmingham New Street is served by cross-country trains, Transport for Wales, West Midlands Trains and Avanti West Coast as the main providers that run through there. And these will give you direct train access from London Euston Station right up to Glasgow and Edinburgh and Blackpool off on the left. And your cross-country trains will run right down from Penzance, Plymouth, Exeter Way, Bournemouth and Southampton in the south, all the way up through Leeds, York, Newcastle, up to Edinburgh, all the way up to Aberdeen if needed, with options out towards Cambridge and Nottingham and Peterborough. So it's a really good one to link into from different places around the country. And if you are coming on trains, the nearest away-friendly pub to the station is the Shakespeare, and depending on which exit you use, it's right outside the station on Summer Row. Your postcode's Bravo 31 Juliet Juliet, or your what three words for the front is slap wedge target. But that's quite small, and if there's hundreds of you getting off the train, it's going to fill up very quickly. So round a couple of corners, a few streets further on, you've got Bennett's Hill with three decent choices there for you. First two are pretty much next door to each other. The Sun on the Hill and the Briar Rose are the Weatherspoons. They do get a bit funny about football shirts and asking you to cover them up or refusing entry, so I'm not going to highly recommend them. But the Sun on the Hill next door is a good shout if you do head for the Weatherspoons and you get turned away for any reason. You can find both of those at Goes Senses Dizzy, and then a little bit further up the street, probably a quieter pub, one for the real ale drinkers, not one to go singing and shouting about in, but are friendly, welcoming and don't mind away fans going in, is the Wellington, which has a wide selection of real ales, but the quirkiest part about it is they have two pub cats called Malt and Hops, who basically own the place, wander around, and you are their guest in that pub. So if you fancy something different, maybe give that a try. And Puppy Next to Defeat, which I'm pretty sure is nothing to do with the cats, but that'll find you the front of that one. But getting back to the singing and shouting and drinking, halfway between the city centre and the ground, you've got the Anchor at Digbeth. It's on a corner down near the coach station. It's sort of real ale led, but you can get lagers and that in there. They welcome visiting supporters, and it's a nice little stop off halfway to the stadium. It's about 10-15 minutes walk from there to get to the visiting supporters corner. Ground Lovely Jolly will find you outside that one, and then up near the ground, most of the pubs don't let visiting supporters in. They're all pretty much home only. They've got Birmingham badges in the window and stuff, but the Cricketers Arms is a mixed one, and generally people get in there late on a coach, wanting a quick pint, find themselves in there. Gosh Retail Arena is your what three words to find it, and it's just the other side of the supermarket car park. If you plan on staying over, the Briar Rose that I mentioned earlier, the Weatherspoons, is actually a weather lodge, so they have a hotel above it. Those Beers are always decent value, decent quality. I think like Premier Inn, but with the Wetherspoons attached. So if you are planning on drinking there and staying in the city, it might be worth a shout. But get in early on the Wetherspoons website and book that as soon as you know when the kickoff time is going to be. Over the TV, people have chosen their games, and then a few other options on different budgets. You've got your reasonable price Premier Inn in Birmingham City Centre. Duke Starts Hunt is your 3 words to get you to the reception, and then the other side of the sort of train station on the west of the city, if you're looking for something a little more quirky, you've got an Ibis Styles, and Stocks Club Linen will find you at the front door of that one. And if you do want to treat yourself for surviving another away day, you can find a little bit more luxury at the Clayton Hotel, which isn't far from the Premier Inn. It's got a nice big outside balcony drinking area for the warm sunny days, and they'll even fold your toilet paper into the shape of a swan for you. Why not? You deserve it. And if you do want to find that, Became Jobs Villa will get you to their reception. And then when you are ready to move up to the ground, Police Jumpy Glitz will get you to the gated entrance to the coach park, which is where the visiting supporters are going to be granted access. You're going to be in the lower section of the Gilmerick stand, which used to be the railway end. You'll get about 3,000 allocation for a normal game if you take that up. The facilities are fairly modern. It's had work done on it, as I say, in recent years. And the views of the pitch are excellent, to be fair, for an old stadium. There's no restricted view problems. And that's it from me. Have a fantastic day. Don't let the football spoil your enjoyment, and I'll see you in the next one. If you found this useful, you can help me out by clicking the subscribe button. It's free of charge, and it really does help. You can also drop a like on the video itself, and why not share it with friends? Cheers!